Okay, hello, welcome back. This is Spider-Man and Noir Suit. So start out, I thought I'd kind of do an update, comic book type update. So there's some good news and some bad news. We'll start with the bad news. Well, it's bad news for me. The Squirrel Girl comic is coming to an end. They're going to end at number 15, which is the only active comic book I'm currently following. So, yeah. Probably means I'm going to dive back into the older comics, which I really, really like. Now, for some good news. So, I was looking online the other day for some of the older comics. I was happy to discover that they had come out with a Volume 3 of the Moon Knight Epic, which is the original run of Moon Knight, which is superb. I highly recommend it. I had actually looked for the third volume for quite a while, and I've pretty much given up hope on them ever doing it. And yeah, so I was a little shocked to, yeah, I'll say shocked. I was a little shocked to discover that they had come out with it, and I could get it now. So yay that. I also discovered an old Spider-Man I had really enjoyed back in the 80s. Yeah, I think it is that old. 80s or 90s anyway. The Trial of Venom, which I remember being a really good one. I also discovered that Peter David wrote it, Peter David's probably most famous for writing Spider-Man 2099, or possibly his run on his Grey Hulk run. But regardless, he's a good writer, and it was a good book, so excited about that. Also, in July, they're coming out with the third book, Return of the Goblin, in the Spider-Man Epic series, which is, in this case, there are quite a few Spider-Man epics, but in this case, it's reprinting the original 1960s run written by Stan Lee, so that's very exciting. And in August, they're coming out with a Spider-Girl, the complete series Spider-Girl, but the second one in the complete series. So, some good comics to look forward to, which is kind of sad to think that, all the comics I'm looking forward to are pretty much old comics, but that's just me. So anyway, we're going to jump into the full point of this video, which is I wanted to... So, there was a show called... what is it? Game of Thrones, which I've never watched and probably never will watch. I have no real interest in it. But there's been a call for kind of epic fantasies, and I felt this was a good time to kind of take a look at certain video games that I think could be adapted to TV series. Now, I think adapting most video games to a TV series as opposed to a movie makes a lot more sense, just because video games are generally, the storylines tend to be really huge, really long storylines. And so so this is, I want to kind of showcase a couple of video games that would, I think, made for a good TV series. Before I do that, and before I explain why I'm doing Spider-Man of all things as one of those, let me say for a couple of things that I'm not going to be able to showcase, but I think would make good TV series. The video game Kingdoms of Amalur, the Oxventurers Guild. Look up Oxventurers; it's pretty funny. And Rachel Aaron's The Adventures of Eli Mompress series. It's a 5-book series. I think all of those would make really good TV shows, and people should explore and look into it. So anyway, we're going to take a look at why Spider-Man. So on the surface of it, choosing Spider-Man as a video game that they should base a TV show on doesn't make much sense. There's already been one TV show in the 70s. Apparently there was a Japanese TV show as well, where he controlled a giant robot. That's the extent of my knowledge of the Japanese TV show right there. And, there have been, counting Far From Home, I believe 7 Spider-Man movies in the last 20 years. So, on the whole, Spider-Man probably wouldn't be the first choice for a TV series. However, as you can see, I'm dressed as Spider-Man Noir, and I felt for a little while that Noir would make for an interesting TV series. He's got a certain cult popularity appeal. He was in that animated Spider-Man movie recently, and seemed to be quite popular. So it's set in the 1930s, and it kind of has the whole Spider-Man mythos, but set in the 1930s, which is the whole point of Noir, right there. But I think it could work really well. But one thing I would say is that, strangely enough, I like Spider-Man Noir in his appearances in video games and in other things. I did not like the original comic books, which is, you know, saying something. I thought the character was good, but I don't think they handled him very well in the comics. So, yeah. So I think doing this as a in the video game form does make sense. Actually, I'm just justifying it and just want to do a couple more scenes of me swinging through Manhattan as Spider-Man Noir, but shh, don't tell anyone. So, regardless, I think it could make for a pretty interesting series, and kind of, yeah, explore kind of how he got his abilities, which was not explored in the comics, and to kind of, you know, take a look at, you know, the time period and kind of do noir mystery type storylines, you know, would be a lot of fun to watch. And I think it would be a great choice. So, for those of you paying attention, next Netflix type Marvel show, or apparently they're going to break away and do entirely Disney Marvel shows, but whatever the next one is, choose Spider-Man Noir. You know, have it kind of not black and white, but have kind of the they have a faded color. If you've seen that sort of filming technique, that would be, you know, sort of a faded color to it. Have it kind of, you know, showing more of the night and more of the slightly darker, but not overly dark storylines. And yep, that you would be well onto a winner right there. So that's my let's look out. Ooh, at the ferry. So that's my take on yep, the next TV series they could do, Spider-Man Noir. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe if you like this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.